Welcome back to another episode of Bread and Captivity News. Let's get right into it. So, National Post, a pretty prominent newspaper in Canada, should just go ahead and rename themselves National Embarrassment. They cannot, will not stop carrying water for the genocidal regime that is Israel. Now, a few days ago, we have sworn in our new Prime Minister designate, Mark Carney. And shortly after he was shortly after he had gained that position, he appointed somebody to his small cabinet, Marco Mendicino. And this got activists, human rights activists, really suspicious because it raised some alarm bells. This guy is staunchly pro-Israel. And it's not 10 years ago where you could just say I'm pro-Israel and people just kind of don't know what that means anymore. Being pro-Israel today is being pro whatever they're doing to the Palestinians, whatever they're doing to Syria, whatever they're doing to Lebanon. So it was really a really bad taste in our mouths to know that this was going to be part of the very small, newly formed Canadian Prime Minister's cabinet. Then a few days later, Israel goes ahead and shows the world why we all did not like Marco Mendicino's appointment, because they went ahead and cut off the water in Gaza. Now, they are going to officially say that they cut off the electricity, but that electricity specifically powers a desalination plant, one of the only desalination plant that was working in Gaza. A desalination plant is what gets your water to be drinkable, to give you potable drinking water. And they've taken that away in the month of Ramadan. So during the month of Ramadan, when young men and women of age and older men and women are fasting the entire day from sunrise to sunset, when sunset hits, you really want a drink of water. Almost more than you want food sometimes. You really want some water, because this isn't like the Catholic fasting where you can drink water throughout the day. This is really strict fasting, meant to help you reset yourself spiritually, meant to help you understand what the plight of other people is in the world. And in Gaza, they're doing this in the middle of one of the worst humanitarian crises that we've seen. And what does Israel do in the middle of this? Cut off their water. We are hearing from hospitals, we're hearing from doctors who are saying that the last of the usable and clean supplies that they have are pretty much being depleted. We are hearing that they have once again closed off all routes for humanitarian aid to come into Gaza, from the Philadelphia quarter, from the Rafah crossing, from everywhere. This is really, it cannot be overstated how evil this is. It cannot be overstated what the cost of lives is going to be here. We already know that nobody really knows what the death toll is in Gaza. We've had that number 40,000 kicking around for like a year. It is not 40,000. It is way more than 40,000 at this point. We've had doctors come back and put together a report saying that by their best estimate, it was about 180,000. And that was several months ago. Israel is turning up the heat now, because they can see that the world is turning against them. They can see that their disgusting Zionist lies are not really hitting the same in the West. They are seeing that students are revolting against them. They are seeing that Israelis themselves are fleeing Israel because they don't want to live there anymore. They're tired of the constant war. They're not leaving because they've been torturing Palestinians for a while. In fact, I bet a lot of those Israelis who are fleeing would be happy to stay in Israel if they got some sort of guarantee that all Palestinians would be dead. But nevertheless, they are suffering. There is a huge brain drain going on over there. There are psychiatrists, doctors, and just all types of professionals who don't want to be there anymore. And what does Israel do at this time? Are they being reflective? Are they thinking about what's brought them here and the evil that they've unleashed and how that might not have been a good idea? No. It's still just anti-Semitism. It's still just attack people's free speech outside of your own borders in the States, in Canada, where I am. It's still shoot journalists. It's still call the UN Hamas. Now they're even gone to calling their own hostages who are speaking out Hamas. And while all of this is happening, while the whole world and everybody with two eyes can see exactly what's going on, what does the National Post do? Well, they're out here complaining that Mark Carney had the gall, the audacity, dare I say the chutzpah, to demand that humanitarian aid get into Gaza. Oh, how evil. How evil, Mark Carney. How could you say that? How could you be so anti-Semitic? Fuck you. Do you understand what it means to say you're being anti-Semitic when you are pleading for kids to get food? That the correct Semitic response would be, fuck those kids, they should starve? Are you hearing yourself? This is why anti-Semitism is on the rise. Because you are constantly equating yourself with Jews around the world who want nothing to do with your demonic Nazi Zionist bullshit. But not National Post. National Post, the national fucking embarrassment of this country, is happy to carry water for Israel. Happy to demonize our new prime minister because he's not sucking Israel off enough, right? It's not Canada first. It's not America first. They're like, hello, it's Israel first, asterisk, then Canada first, then America first. And they're really having a hard time with Mark Carney's inability to grasp such a simple concept. Here we go. Mark Carney, as the new Liberal leader and prime minister designate, had the opportunity this week to reset relations with Israel and approach the Middle East dilemma with a less blinkered view and take a robust stance against anti-Semitism. The way y'all have just ruined this word is a joke. You know, and you can keep on pretending that Muslims are the enemy, but when anti-Semitism takes off, don't come crying to us. I'm not even a practicing Muslim, but don't go crying to Muslims. Because it's white people. It's white. You know, those whole Jews will not replace us all up in Charlottesville. It'll be those people. Okay? But keep on going on about how Hamas is the problem. Okay, so he could have taken a strong stance against anti-Semitism, but that bastard chose to help say that kids should get food instead. They say kids should get medicine instead. Let's keep on reading about how Mark Carney's so evil for this. Instead of the leader's first foray into the Middle East foreign policy has seen him follow in the footsteps of his predecessor, Justin Trudeau, the man who left office saying, I'm a Zionist. Okay. As well as the likes of Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly. They're mad at her. They're big mad at her because she tweeted that, oh, you know, you shouldn't be starving people. And then, you know, it was half-assed. Even Melanie Joly's post was like, oh, both sides. You need to shut up with the both sides. This is why you shouldn't try to appease Israel. Because you're going to go and say, oh, both sides. When you know what you're doing, you want to say, stop starving Palestinians and give back the tens of thousands of Palestinian hostages that you have. But you have to go out there and talk shit and say, oh, Israel hostages, Israeli hostages, the ones that they shot themselves by the Hannibal Directive. And don't ever forget when those Israeli hostages stripped themselves naked, painted Hebrew words on the shack that they were in, waved a white flag and got gunned down by their own comrades. They're not talking about them, right? More than 500 days after Hamas started the war, or maybe more than 76 years after we started our brutal occupation, either of these sentences, but we know what National Post will go with, Israel is still trying to get its citizens back. It is believed 24 hostages are still alive in Gaza. Another 35 hostages are dead. They're going to end the sentence there when it really should be ended with dead by Israeli bombing, because that's what the hostages are saying when they're coming back to Israel. They're saying them and Hamas were like on bended knee praying together that they wouldn't die because of the Israeli bombings. How Hamas was protecting them. How Hamas was bringing them the things that they needed to celebrate their Jewish holidays. Carney's tweet was prompted by Israel's decision on Sunday to cut electricity to Gaza. Do you want to mention that it's a war crime, National Post? No, of course not. Because this is not Canada's newspaper. This is Israel's newspaper. We will employ all the tools available to us so that all the hostages will return, and we will ensure Hamas won't be in Gaza on the day after, said Israeli Energy Minister Eli Cohen. There is no such thing as not having Hamas inside Gaza. Because to say that you're not going to have Hamas inside Gaza is to say that you expect every single Palestinian who has lived the last 14 months, the last 76 years, should love their enemy. That's the expectation you have. They should love Israel, even though Israel's bombing them, starving them, sodomizing them on camera so brutally that it is puncturing lungs. Don't become Hamas once we've done that to you. Sit right there and don't have a fucking single thought about how we tortured you. You better love us. You better love Israel the way we love Israel. Are you fucking high? Do you think Palestinians would be happier if Japanese people were doing this to them? No, they'd fucking hate the Japanese. If it were the Germans, they'd hate the Germans. If it was Somalis, they'd hate the Somalis. Anybody, if it was your brother, you would hate your brother. But no, they don't want you to think about what they're doing to them. They don't want you to think about how fucking illogical it is that you demand that a resistance movement put down its arms when the time to resist is right in front of them. When you're stealing people and raping them on camera and then having debates in your highest offices of government about whether or not you have the right to rape people. Love me after that. That's what Israel's thinking. And that's what they're demonizing Palestinians over. How come you don't love me after I did all that? Fucking vile. Hamas rejected the proposal, which prompted Israel to suspend aid. Again, another fucking bold-faced lie. Hamas did not want an extension. They had a plan. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Israel wants to extend phase 1. Why? Why are they allowed to? There is a deal. Everybody worked on the deal. People flew across countries, across continents, across oceans to work on a deal. And then when Hamas comes through on their end, you want an extension. And when they don't agree to an extension, oh, suddenly they're the ones who are... No, stick to the deal. This is absolute BS. The National Post should have to apologize for what it's doing. They should be held accountable. They should not be allowed, when this war subsides, to just continue as if they are a respected newspaper in Canada. They shouldn't. They have been holding water for genocide supporters for over a year. For over a year. These are not Canadian values. These are not things that Canada wants. And this is all in service of another fucking country. So, National Post, you are the fucking worst. And your name should be National Fucking Embarrassment. We're going to leave it here. We have more coming your way. Stick around. Like it if you like it. Subscribe if you can. It's totally free. Bread and Captivity News out. Peace.